Namaste everyone. Marking 160th birth year of Swami Vivekananda, our Navaratri Dolls are going to walk you through the life, characteristics and message of Swami Vivekananda. Let's begin with the vision Sri Ramakrishna had once in deep meditation. This is even before he met Swami Vivekananda. In his vision, he saw his mind went up by a luminous path and entered the Saptarishi Mandala, where the 7 sages were sitting in deep meditation called Samadhi. The next moment, Sri Ramakrishna saw a mass of light converted into the form of divine child coming down to one of the rishis. The child threw its arms round the neck of the rishi and started speaking to him in a voice that was sweeter than the music of veena. The rishi woke up to the delicate touch and sweet voice of the child. The divine child then said to the rishi, "I am going to the earth, you must come with me." Though the rishi said nothing at the request, but his loving eyes expressed his assent. That divine child is none other than Sri Ramakrishna, and the rishi is Swami Vivekananda. For a moment, let's leave the supersensual background of Swami Vivekananda. What you're looking at now is Mother Bhuvaneshwari Devi praying to Shiva for a child. 1863 January 12th, on a Monday, Narendranath Datta was born to Vishwanath Datta and Bhuvaneshwari Devi, who belonged to a wealthy and respectable family. Narendranath was lovingly called Naren. He was fond of pet animals and had a goat, monkey, peacock, pigeons and a cow. What you see here is the ancestral house of Naren. Even as a child, he always felt for the poor and needy. Whenever a beggar came, he would give away whatever he found from the house. Once when a beggar came, his mother locked him up in the room, but that did not stop young compassionate Naren from giving. He threw the clothes from the window. For the young boy Naren, the coachman or Tangawala with his whip was the most admirable hero. Naren was fascinated to see how he controlled the horses and how important he was. Anybody wanting to go anywhere would look for Tangawala. He told his mother when he grew up he wanted to become a Tangawala. His mother then showed the picture of Gitopadesha and said, "If you want to become a Tangawala, become one like Lord Krishna, who taught the highest knowledge to the mankind." Since childhood, Narendra practiced meditation. Probably this is why he was exceptionally intelligent and had a prodigious memory. Once while playing with his friends, they all sat to meditate. As usual, Naren went into deep meditation. Suddenly a cobra slithered in. All his friends frightened fled away shouting. But Naren neither realized cobra's presence nor heard his friends screaming and was completely absorbed in meditation. Naren had a sports build. He was skilled in various kinds of physical exercises like gymnastics, wrestling, boxing, sport play, and swimming. Later in time, his advice to young generation was to be strong and keep the body and mind fit. He said, "You will be nearer to heaven through football than through the study of Bhagavad Gita." Naren had attained a high degree of proficiency in music even as a student. He had systematically studied and practiced vocal as well as instrumental music. He was an adept at singing bhajans and inherited a richly vibrant and intensely sweet voice. He knew quite a few musical compositions in various languages like Bengali, Hindi, Urdu, Persian, and Samskrita. The very first song that Narendra sang before Sri Ramakrishna threw the latter into deep samadhi. While Naren was pursuing his bachelor's degree, his father passed away. His close relatives betrayed them. One's wealthy family was now struck in extreme poverty. Naren requested his master Sri Ramakrishna to pray to Mother Kali for improving his family's worldly condition. But the master asked Naren to pray for himself. He fixed the date and time for Naren's visit to the temple. A firm faith aroused in Naren's mind that his family's suffering is going to end as soon as he prayed to Mother Kali. With that faith, Naren entered the temple. He saw Ma Kali in the live form. His heart filled with extreme devotion and bliss. He could not ask anything more than Jnana, Bhakti, Viveka and Vairagya. What you now see are the 3 knowledge sources for Naren. One, his master Sri Ramakrishna, his life, his experiences, and teachings. A few days before Sri Ramakrishna attained Mahasamadhi, he transmitted all his power of knowledge to Naren and told him the force of this power will get done great things. The second source for Naren, or hereafter we call him Swami Vivekananda, is his personal experience traveling the length and breadth of Bharata as a wandering monk. This is the time where he mixed with all strata of society and understood the ground situation of British India. His knowledge and love for his country was so profound that he can be termed its embodiment. The third knowledge source are the books. Swami Vivekananda was a voracious reader and read books on Vedanta, philosophy, science, Samskrita grammar, Western philosophy, history, literature, and many more various kinds of books. His great power of concentration and eidetic memory let him read an entire page in just a glance. During his All India travel, Swami Vivekananda reached Hathras Junction. The station master there, Sharat Chandra Gupta, was fascinated at the very sight of Swamiji. After speaking to Swamiji, he requested him to be his guest. He served him greatly. After a few days, when Swamiji wanted to leave, Sharat expressed his desire to renounce everything and become his disciple. Before accepting him as a disciple, Swamiji tested his earnestness by giving Sharat his begging bowl. He asked him to beg food from the porters. The station master, without any hesitation, executed the command of his master. He is the first disciple of Swami Vivekananda, called as Swami Sadananda, who resigned from his profession and followed Swamiji to support him in his mission of regenerating India. After traveling close to 3 years the whole length of India, Swamiji reached Kanyakumari. His eyes fell on a large rock. He plunged into shark-infested waters and swam to the islet. His heart was full of emotions. Sitting on that rock, he recalled what he had seen and experienced. Everywhere, subjugated by foreign power, people had lost hope, confidence. The poor were very poor to afford education. Many were suffering from diseases, ill-nourished. These sufferings of millions pulsated through his veins. He thought about the past where India had a rich spiritual, political, and cultural heritage, against the present where the Indian masses were in a very pitiable condition. He worried about the future of how the nation could get back its lost individuality and raise the masses. He meditated for 3 days on the rock. This gave him a clarity on the next step. He decided to give ancient wisdom of India to the West and in return seek their support to uplift the masses. Alasinga Perumal was the principal of Pachayappa High School, Madras. Knowing Swamiji was in Madras, Alasinga Perumal went to meet him. After talking to him, he immediately realized that it was Swamiji who would be the best person to represent Hinduism at the World Parliament of Religions being conducted at Chicago. He urged Swamiji to travel for this parliament. He, along with his friends, were ready to raise money for his travel. Swami Vivekananda instructed Alasinga Perumal and his friends to collect money only from the common man of India, as it was for them that Swamiji agreed to attend the parliament. Alasinga Perumal's commitment, dedication, and determination prepared the ground for Swamiji's visit to the West. However, Swamiji was still hesitant as he had not received the divine call or any indication from his master. He wanted to be sure it was not his personal ambition. He wrote a letter to Holy Mother Sharada Devi informing her of the proposal to go to the West and seeking her blessing in the matter. To this, Mother replied giving her permission and blessing. She also wrote that it was also Sri Ramakrishna's wish that he undertake this journey. Swamiji also had a symbolic dream in which he saw Sri Ramakrishna walking into the water of the ocean and beckoning him to follow. After this, Swamiji informed his disciples and devotees that he was ready. On 31st May 1893, Swamiji set sail via Japan. On this voyage, Swami Vivekananda met Jamshedji Tata and the two discussed a lot about India's current state and steps to make it better. Jamshedji explained about his plan to import equipment and technology that would help make India a strong industrial nation. To which Swamiji suggested if those equipments could be manufactured within India to provide a living for many. Monday, September 11th, 1893, the Parliament of Religions opened its deliberations at the Art Institute of Chicago with 7,000 plus people. The delegates from across the world were present. Swamiji had never before addressed such an assembly. When he was asked to give his message, he was seized with stage fright and requested the chairman to call on him a little later. Several times he postponed the summons. Finally, he gathered courage, prayed to Goddess Saraswati, and began his speech addressing the audience as brothers and sisters of America. The warmth in his voice and words instantly triggered a standing ovation and claps for the next 2 minutes. After this, the depth of content he delivered was such that the response was a deafening applause. The young unknown monk of India was transformed overnight into an outstanding figure of the religious world. After this, for close to 3¼ years, he gave a series of lectures in America and England. Swamiji's followers engaged a stenographer, J. Goodwin, to record the invaluable speeches. Keeping pace with Swamiji's rapid speech, understanding the subject matter, and accurately transcribing it was definitely not easy, but Goodwin was great at it. Goodwin was so inspired with Swamiji that he travelled with him even to India and recorded many lectures here. He passed away at a very early age of 27 years in Ooty, but earned the everlasting gratitude of many Indians and Westerners alike. Now you are seeing the city of Mysuru. When two great minds met on the ship, Swami Vivekananda and Jamshedji Tata, their discussions in the future resulted in Indian Institute of Science. In 1898, Jamshedji announced his plans to establish a university. He also endowed a substantial part of his personal wealth for this ambitious project. Bengaluru was chosen as the suitable place. It was the Maharaja of Mysuru who came forward with a generous offer of 371 acres of land in Bengaluru for the institute, a gift of INR 5 lakhs for construction, and a recurring grant of Indian rupees 50,000 a year. Swamiji taught us practical Vedanta. What you see here can be considered the definition of the universal religion or universal oneness. The above arrangement explains this doctrine. For a moment, let's consider this light as the supreme power, the absolute or Brahman. Below this, what you see are the forms what we recognize as Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, or the form of Shakti like Mother Saraswati, Lakshmi, or Parvati. The next step is the Dashavatara that was taken by the Absolute or Brahman for a purpose on this earth. According to what Swamiji said, each soul is potentially divine. Be it the Dashavatara or the other avatars what you see here are all divine, but we are potentially divine. Potential because we are ignorant about our very nature of being divine. As an example, the spark of fire may look small, but it has got all the potentialities of a mighty conflagration. Similarly, our goal should be the manifestation of the infinite self within. Swamiji also guides us the paths for this manifestation. We can either take the path of philosophy or Jnana Yoga, or through the path of worship, which can be devotion or love towards the Supreme, which is called Bhakti Yoga. We can also do it through work or Karma Yoga. Swamiji gives us a simple definition for Karma Yoga. Any act that is unselfish is moral, and that which is selfish is immoral. So whatever profession or job we are in, this principle will get the best out of us. The last one what you see is the psychic control or Raja Yoga. We can manifest by either following one or more or all of these and be free. The central message is that we are all the sparks of the same source of light shining through the different bodies. Sister Nivedita, known as Margaret Elizabeth Noble in her earlier life, met Swami Vivekananda at London home. She was greatly attracted by his teachings and accepted him as his master. She followed him to India. Swamiji wanted the women of India to light the lamp of knowledge in them, gain the strength from knowledge, become fearless, compassionate, large-hearted, and acquire practical efficiency. Accordingly, Sister Nivedita started a school for girl children. When she initially asked them who was the Queen of India, they unanimously said Queen Elizabeth. She then corrected it, saying she was the Queen of Britain and it is eminent women like Mother Sita, Gargi, Maitreyi who can be called the Queens of India. She started the education with cultural values. She not only dedicated herself to the uplift of Indian women but gave her entire life to this nation. The other message of Swami Vivekananda was to serve man as God. He asked everyone to dedicate themselves to the service of the poor, the illiterate, the hungry, and the sick, without which we cannot have a well structured society. This life is short, the vanities of the world are transient, but they alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. Swami Vivekananda chose 4th of July 1902 for his Mahasamadhi. He had reached the age of 39 years, 5 months, and 24 days, thus fulfilling his own prophecy, I shall not live to be 40 years old. But there stands a ringing declaration that he made long before his end. It may be that I shall find it good to get outside my body, to cast it off like a worn-out garment, but I shall not cease to work. I shall inspire men everywhere until the world shall know that it is one with God. Thank you, everyone. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishnar Padamastu.